So talk to us, JB. Tell us why. And I know your
What is
story a little bit.
Entrepreneur Con? Like, what is that? Explain that.
So Entrepreneur Conference was something that was put together with me and my partner, Ryan Riddle. What we did was we wanted to really create something that was different and local. Most of the time, New York is one of the most densely populated, most desired places to go to. Long Island, not so much. It's not that it's a boring place. It's just not as sexy and as desired as New York City. But Long Island actually would be like the seventh largest economy. I'm sorry, it would be in the top 20 largest economies on the planet if it were to secede from the Union. So there's a lot of things going on there. So we have a lot of people that were in Long Island. They were leaving the state to go to conferences and events. And Ryan and I do a lot of business out here. And we said, why don't we just bring that to here this year, make it something big and people look forward to, and kind of be the industry leaders when it comes to doing conferences for entrepreneurs and base it out of Long Island. And it was a new concept, and we went with it, and it was pretty successful, and we're going to do it again this year.
How many years have you been running this?
That was our first ever show, the one you went to.
It was?
Yeah.
Dude, that was clean.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, we did a lot of work on that. But yeah, that was our first ever.
Oh, wow. I thought you were in it like 5 years.
No. We never did it before. So now we have a lot more experience. Like this year coming up is going to really trump last year. And last year was good. So we're very excited about it.
So was it profitable, or was it a break even or a loss for you?
Yeah, great question. I mean, it was profitable. What we did, though, that skimmed out a lot of profits is, I don't know if you noticed this, but when we did, we didn't sell on stage really almost at all. We just delivered. And it's funny because when we were setting it up, people were like, hey, I don't want it to be a pitch fest. And it wasn't. And then when we were done, people were like, damn, man, I really wish you offered me some more opportunities to get more education from the speakers. So what we're going to be doing now is this year coming up, it's going to be the same delivery. No one's going to hold back and say, all right, well, this is great. And, oh, by the way, if you want to know more, I'll stop right here. You got to buy this. Instead, it's going to be, I'm going to give you everything. It's going to be raw up front. We're not going to hold back. And there's going to be opportunities with the speakers for about 10 to 12 people per speaker to be able to go off to a mastermind for a weekend with them that we'll arrange. So we're going to have things like that. It's going to help with profitability, but it's also going to help with, at the end of the day, user experience. Because
Revshare, right? You're going to have Revshare on that, right?
Yeah, there's Revshare on things. There's sponsorships, right? So we have a lot more sponsorships. A lot of people thought when we were bringing out Cardone and all these big guys, and we never did it before, that it wasn't even real.
Right.
So they're like, I never heard of this.
Is he going to show up? Were you like worried he wouldn't show up?
No, absolutely not. No, Grant's a professional guy to work with. When we make an agreement with him, we were never worried if he was going to show up or not. He did what he said he was going to do, and we enjoyed working with him. Yeah.
At least, he did show up.
Yeah, he did.
Was he in town, or did he just fly right in and just roll in?
No, he came out. He was in town already, but he came out for the purpose of this conference. Long Island is not really a thing on most. I think honestly, except for Rene Rodriguez and Coach Burt went to the Hamptons once. Everyone else, it was their first time ever in Long Island. So it's kind of cool to bring them all out there. But everyone who came out, their real purpose for being in that state at that time was for that reason, for the conference.
That's cool. Are you doing this conference full time? Are you doing other things? Like, what else do you guys got going on?
Yeah, so my bread and butter is the way I got started in this business in 2018. I started a sales training company. And what I really specialized in was real estate sales. I was in the real estate industry since I was 19 years old. And I was doing it on like an independent level, not as a company. And I decided, let me go to get bigger. So in Long Island, I became the largest real estate sales trainer, worked with a lot of brokerages, top agents and teams, developed them a lot. And during that time, I built out a studio. I'm in that studio right now. And I had a media team specifically for me. And everyone kept asking me, hey, could you help me with a media project? Or could you consult me on some stuff for media? I'm like, sure. And I kept doing one-offs, never advertised it. In 2020, without advertising, media, marketing, and consulting, we were getting 2 times the amount of volume and demand on it. So it kind of evolved into a full-fledged consulting company. So what I do regularly now is content creation, ads management, creative strategy, design, user design experiences, and we still have the sales training component now for all industries and business training. So it's a full-on consulting company now. That's what I do. It evolved from real estate only to now business in general. And now we do these conferences too on top of it, using the media company that we have. Yeah. Yeah, it evolved.
Now, like in the beginning, if me and you were boys, I was like, yo, JB, could you help me with that? Would you be like, nah, this costs $20 and I'll help you? Or were you doing it for free? Then you're like, oh crap, I got to start like charging for this.
Great question. Actually, in the beginning, I would just help people out. What really put my company as a media company was I helped right when COVID started. I helped someone do an online webinar for a charity fundraiser. This is when everything was shut down, like the first month, when kind of the economy came to a halt. And we had 9,000 people come onto that webinar, and they stayed on for 8.5 hours. And from that point on, I feel like, oh shit, we have something here. And that's where it became like, hey, if you want something done and you're serious about it, come to JB, come to TILRE Media. So that's where it kind of came together. But all of it was always done just as a favor to help someone out. It was for free or if it was for cost. And then it became a real moving thing that developed over time.
Do you feel like doing that as favors helped you get where you are faster? Or looking back, you're like, crap, I wish I like started charging sooner?
100%. Even my coaching business, I built it up initially by not charging. So if you're trying to break into a market, even if you're very good at it and you don't have contacts established yet, you don't have layup deals, and you need to get out of non-existence with people and get in front of them, you're going to need to incentivize them to take time out of their day that they value to work with you. And the best way to do that is to give them an opportunity to fill you out, to give them an experience. And when you show up and what you do for free is such high quality, the next thing they wonder is, what would happen if I paid this guy? And that's the biggest thing is I think a lot of people, when they do freebies, they hold back a lot. They water it down so much to the point where they're really just not interested to find out what else you have to offer because it was But when you deliver like incredible work, even if it's as a favor or free, people go, whoa, and they take notice. I've had people that I've done free stuff for when I was getting started that never paid me, but sent me 6 figures worth of referrals. So you never know the value of someone. They never wrote me a check, but we've made a couple $100,000 just from them being in our life and us helping them out.
What's your ideal client look like? Like if you get an inbound referral or call, what's that? What do you hope? Like perfect. Like
believe it or not, client. The bigger the game, the easier it is for us. So we work with a few range of clients, but I'll answer it as far as ideal. What generally speaking, when people think of content creation or media, we'll get like a business person. They're very successful, but they really don't understand like how do I brand or how do I set something up and we work with them. That's great, and we build them up. The thing is that when someone doesn't know who they are yet, what their persona is, what they represent, there's a lot more development, and it takes time to do that. What we like is big games, someone who's already a persona. And one of those great clients are someone who's like, all right, this is where I'm at. This is where I need to be at. I need someone that can plug this in, have a sales team that can be trained for it, build out this funnel, help me with my content strategy, where we can kind of like plug in all of our divisions into that one client. Those are great. That being said, someone looking to grow, open-minded, and they understand the process that it takes some time to do it and doesn't want to become, Grant Cardone overnight, because that's not possible. Even Grant Cardone didn't do that. That's a great client for us. So we love working with everyone, but
you want to pour gasoline on a fire. You want that's already going.
Yeah. And if we start a fire, we love that too. But people don't realize that when you're really making content, we really want to get people to know who you are. That's another full-time job. And you shouldn't be intimidated by that, but you should look at that realistically. It's not like we take some pictures and then we write this amazing copy and now everyone loves you and follows you. It has to be a whole movement behind it. So a client that understands that is an ideal client for us because we can really get a lot of stats for them that way.
So like Gary, what does Gary Vee say? Post 12,000 times a day? Like just post. What's like something JB says to do that maybe people haven't heard before?
Well, what we like to do is there's 4 quadrants to creating your online personality: personal, professional, family, and flex. Personal is what you do in your personal life, like that. Professional, family, and flex.
Family.
So the personal is I'm going to the gym, I'm fishing with my buddies. Hey, I have my sports car, I'm taking it out, or anything that's personal that you like to do. It could be a hobby, whatever it is. Professional is you at work doing deals, maybe like handling a problem, whatever it is. Family is your spouse, your kids, your household family, ideally. And then flex is bragging about something, but not being arrogant about it. And people go, well, I don't have a paddock. I don't have a Rolls Royce. How do I flex? Well, you don't have to flex that way. Flexing is sharing something that other people also want to achieve or have. That could be showing how happy you are in your relationship. That could be a cool closing you just did. That could be a milestone. Maybe you lost a lot of weight or you look a lot better. These can all count as flexes too. And when people see these 4 different versions of you, you start to become someone that they can understand when they log on to your stuff. And we spend a lot of time developing that. Like our content strategy team spends a couple hours and we learn everything about our client, the personal, what's going on, what their origins are, their story, what makes them happy, what pisses them off, what makes them scared. And we create all of these pieces that make them relatable to people out there. And then we do what's called a shotgun marketing initially, where we develop content in all of these different things they talk about with us. From there, 2 to 3 type of things hit hard. People like that and see that. And then we develop all of our content around that. And generally that's what we do. And some of the best ways to really get to people to understand you is comedy or parody. So if you're, Bob Smith, you're a great guy, you're charismatic, you're successful, whatever it is, but just enough people don't know who you are. Well, that's cool. But, maybe a lot of people know what a certain movie is, or they know what a certain TV show is. So we'll actually develop a storyline around the parody that people can find and relate to and laugh about. And then before you know it, bang, it works. We actually had a client of ours. She was really camera shy, and we did a very short clip for her. We wrote it. She's in front of a really nice house. She's a real estate agent. And she said, so I'm going to show you a house that you can buy right here in Long Island for $100,000. And the camera goes, and it goes to an actual cardboard house that was built. And, she was averaging about 1,000 views, and she got about 50,000 views on that. She gained over 1,000 real organic followers in less than a week. She got reposted by all the influencers that are following her now in the real estate space. And people are waiting for other stuff. She's averaging now 6,000 per video that she's posting organically. So she's up 5,000 than she was. And that's all from us being able to get creative and figure that out. So that's what we do. Like Gary Vaynerchuk's 100% right. The volume is super important. But most people hire us because they can't, they're not there yet. They can't actually think like, man, I should document this. I should post. And to compensate for the lack of quantity, we really increase the quality. That's what we're doing for them.
So what are you working with people only locally, or can you figure out how to do it nationally? Like, could we hire you?
Absolutely. We're working with people in Arizona, Los Angeles, Texas, Miami. We have it done in a few ways. Some people actually hire our team to go out, and other people have their own video team that our team actually coaches, creates all the lines, the scripting, gives them the angles and shots, everything that they need and how it needs to be done. Works with them on their edits, and then we do all the content strategies virtually too. So it all depends on the amount of time and money someone wants to put into it, but we can fully consult virtually and give you the blueprint, or we can actually do it anywhere in the country as well.
What's some tech or software that you guys love?
So, I mean, as far as what we're using in our day-to-day is...
like, how are you making that background? Is that real, or is that...
That's real.
Fake? That's real?
That's real. That's a video wall. Yeah, so it's just...
Can you show it? Can you move it around? Can you move the camera around, or is the camera fixed?
Val, can you do a little bit of like a... I'm going to have one of my people do it. While we're sitting here.
I guess I've never seen anything like that. I don't know what it is.
Here we go. I'm gonna have one of my camera people.
It's clean, like your event, just super clean.
Yeah. So
would have never known. So you got that's a light over there. You got some big lights.
Soft lights here. We have a video wall back there. I don't know if you can't see the seams in the screen, can you? Right?
The seams in the screen.
No.
Oh, you know what? Here, Val, just turn this light on really quick. Here, let's turn the light on.
So what they're doing is turning the light on so we can see his background.
Yeah.
And that's it. Is that a TV? That's a screen?
Yeah. So that's 6 screens combined.
Yeah.
Oh, snap. Okay.
Yeah. So then we have a matrix.
Next level.
Yeah, that takes that imaging. You can put it back the way it was, Val.
Where do you learn this stuff? How are you learning this?
So we forced to.
Raise. She's got to raise the camera back up.
Yeah, we just got to get the angle higher again.
Yeah. Just so it's up. Ah! I messed it up.
There we go.
Yeah, there. Hit that. You're good.
Oh.
There you go.
Cool. So
where do you learn this? Where did you just like trial and error, or did you have a mentor?
A little bit of everything. So there's trial and error. So there's mistakes we made along the way that we've perfected. There's also a team, right? So like I have a media team. My executive, the executive here that's in charge of all digital media, I got him from the WWE. So and I've got 2 people from WWE that came. And
so they brought some tricks of the trade with them.
Absolutely. We want to bring people on that have technical know-how on things that we can also learn from, that becomes a part of the way we do this company. So I wish I could show you right now. I've streamed it. I'll tag you when I'm next week when I'm there again. We're building out a 10,000 square foot studio now. And that studio is going to be the first of its kind in New York. When you walk in, there's going to be all different studio sets for music, for talk show, for podcasts, for film. We have a huge bank vault that's real, that's converted to a conference room. But all of the outside of the studios are going to be storefronts. And there's going to be a sidewalk and streets. And you can turn the lights off and it'll look like nighttime and street lights can come on. Or you can turn it into daytime. Even the bathroom is fully remodeled for people who are influencers in the makeup, hair, and beauty industry. They go in there. Everything is a set. Every single thing is a set within there. So we're building that out now, too, to kind of create the hub.
How you came so fast in 2-3 years. Let me circle back. I think I was listening, but like, what were you doing before that?
Before that, I was doing real estate.
You were doing real estate training?
I was doing real estate sales and training. Yeah.
Okay.
And as a one-man team, just me. I mean,
the
team I had, they were selling real estate. I was doing the sales by myself. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Pretty lucrative. You popped out of sales?
Yeah, it was bad. I mean, what I'm saying it was bad is in like when I turned that off to do this, I lost a lot of money to do that. And generally speaking, I would advise people not to turn off things that are making really good money for you. But at the time, like when I was building this out, the company that I have in my office, I was looking for just a little office to do business out of. The place that I signed for was much bigger. And I remember I signed a lease, and when I did, I only had enough money to fund that business for 3 months. Still had to do a full renovation, build a studio, hire staff, do a grand opening. And within 3 months, I pulled that off because I went out and got coaching contracts. I think what makes me move fast is I'm always working on a project that's too big for me. It literally forces me to do it. I was a one-person coaching people. I should have got a little office, maybe 1,000 square feet, had a little bit of area to train. Instead, I went and got a place that fits 20, 30 people, and it was just me walking in by myself. I had no business putting together this conference at the time, but I did. So the thing is that like this new studio that we're doing, just as we're big enough to kind of do whatever we need to do here, we build this massive studio in another location, and it costs 5 times, actually almost 6 times per month what we're doing now. I'm not saying that to brag or complain. I'm just saying I think what really helps you grow fast is
flex.
Yeah,
flex.
That's right.
Flex. What was the spend on the event?
It was just under $1 million. The stage alone costed over about $500,000.
So how do you fund that? Did you take out a loan or borrow, or did you have it, or did you pre-sell and then have that fund the line?
Yeah, so all of the above initially. So Ryan's a partner of mine. Ryan contributed to it as well. And also on top of that, we sold tickets. We pre-sold tickets before we even had a speaker lineup. Then our ad campaign started to work really well. We were able to recycle that money and kind of grow that spend out too. We took out a loan to float our actual employees. in the meantime, because took all hard assets and moved it there. And once again, to put this conference together, at that time, I had to stop growing my other business and put all of my assets, my time, energy, money, all of my personnel on this conference, because we promised a lot and we delivered it, but we delivered it at a cost, and that cost is definitely worth it. And but when you're going through it, you don't even realize. Like, I remember the day after the conference, all of us felt like we got hit by a truck. So we needed a day to rest. We loved it, had an amazing experience. Like, I thought it was the coolest thing. My birthday was the day of the conference. And I remember they brought this birthday cake. I'm celebrating my birthday with Brad and Tim Grover. I got Grant Cardone signing my birthday card. I got everyone like, oh, this is so freaking cool. What a validating, cool experience. Next day, I feel like I got hit by a truck. The day after, I come into the office. I didn't even realize my chest was tight because I felt so loose, which means that like I got used to all that pressure and stress. And I think like doing that process was good, because when you look at the end result, you're like, whoa, it's worth it, you know? And I'm not exaggerating when I say this. And I'm not like this with everything in business. With this particular project, I was literally willing to die to pull it off. And I'm not
grow or die.
That's it. That's it. And I don't think like that with everything. I really don't. I'm not one of those guys that tell you like every day I wake up 4 o'clock in the morning, jump in like freezing cold water, say all my affirmations, and then do this and that. And everything I do is hardcore.
Wait,
I'm not that.
You know
guy.
what Andrew does every morning?
What?
What you just
all
said?
That?
I take a cold shower. Give me a break, man.
But by the way, there's nothing wrong if you do. I'm just saying like I pick my battles where I go really hard in. And then some people got that discipline everywhere they go. So I'm just telling you the realities of it. There's some stuff that I don't go too hard on. And there's other stuff where I'll outwork anyone in. And it really depends on like what the mission is. If there's enough people involved, then I will literally do whatever it takes. If it's a small game, I'll lose track. And that's why I think some people suffer in business, because they fail at small things and they don't realize like if they did a big thing, they'd probably succeed. The game's not big enough, so they can't stay engaged. So if you want to find out what the best version of you is, do some shit that's so big that literally you cannot afford for this to go wrong. And
I think I would just fail.
You think so?
I feel like I would be like $1 million spend. Like I'd have to like compartmentalize that. Like how, like I'm going to go, you're basically like risking potentially $1 million of your own money.
Yeah.
Right. That's scary.
For sure.
It's only money, bro. Right.
It's only money. But I mean, listen, I guess it's only money, but you know, sometimes when you work hard for it, you save it. You don't want to part with it as easy. I would be like, how are we going to get that $1 million back? Like,
well, I would say this. So we had something bigger to lose than $1 million at the time. And that $1 million is a lot for us. It was. It's not like it's like, yeah. We got like 75 million. It's no problem.
Right.
It was a lot.
Exactly.
The thing is that we can get that $1 million back even if we lose. What we can't get back is our credibility and our reputation. Like you're getting on an airplane, you're packing your bags, you're coming out. There's other people that say, hey, I like what you have to say. I don't even know if this is legit, but here's my money. I'm going to be there. We can't let someone down. We just can't. You know, like we were prepared if we needed to even lose if we needed to, because we're not going to let people down. You know, we even sold our speakers to come out, you know, and we were excited to bring them out. And we didn't want to let anyone down. We wanted to deliver an amazing experience. And I think that was the thing that drove us. If it was like I'll give you an example. If I invested all that money into crypto, all day I'd be thinking, oh shit, what am I doing? Did I make the right decision or not? But when I invested into this, I'm like, look, no matter what happens, we can make it right. We can fix it. But we can't fix our reputation if we let down 1,000 people that spent money on this thing and expected something good out of it. Like we wanted the AV, the intros, the music, the lighting, the run of show, the speaker. We wanted to deliver a lot, where my goal was by lunchtime, I wanted you to get your money's worth. And I think for most people, that's how they felt. In fact, the only thing I think that went wrong is freaking AC broke.
Oh, yeah. Dude, yeah. You're like a media genius, man. It's natural. I don't know if you got somebody else there that's telling you what to do, but I mean, yeah, you had everything, like you had the good looking girls, seating everybody. You just had everything right. But yeah, the AC, but you fixed it though. The AC
We did.
was
We
good.
fixed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you make these sales?
That was all right. I just stepped out for a few minutes. It was that real good real estate guy. What was that kid's name?
Which one?
That's the kid from California that sells like $1 billion of real estate a week.
Oh, from Arizona? Yeah, Jason.
Yeah.
Jason Mitchell? Yeah.
Jason Mitchell, yeah.
He's awesome. Yeah. We love him.
I missed that one.
Yeah. He's great.
Because he was on when the AC was cooking. But what was that, Josh?
I was asking, how do you make these sales? Is it just you pick up the phone, online, knocking on people's doors?
A little bit of everything. A majority of it came from the ads that we ran. And the way that we ran the ads we were allowing people to reserve a ticket free for 3 days. And what that means is that they were able to reserve and hold a spot. So if you didn't have the money today, you can hold a spot and in 3 days it would expire. We had a really cool funnel. What we did is we surveyed all of my prior clients, everyone that's done business with me in the past, and we wanted to find out what their buttons are. And what buttons are things that make people want to take action or things that are important to them. And what people were starting to say is that their biggest button, their biggest thing is, I'm tired of chasing clients. I don't want to chase clients. I want them to chase me. I want people to know who I am. So the biggest headline, which we would have never been able to guess, we had to do the research to find out, was get known outside your network. And for some reason, we did the get known outside your network. That thing popped. And we were having a bunch of leads come in. Our team would call, including me. We would call and we would convert a decent amount. Some people required follow-up and other people just bought on their own. In addition to that, our client base, people who've already done business with that trust us, we cold called them or had like small events in Long Island. And at the end of the event, our upsell was the conference. And then we even had flyer distributions around where the venue was with barcodes. And we could track that they were buying from the flyers. So it cost us $700 to print the flyers. And we made about $11,000 from that $700 investment. So wow, that one worked out well too. So it really came down to really knowing our market. Did we do it perfect? I don't think we did it perfect, but we did it in 30 days. So now that we have a lot more time.
You did it in 30 days?
Yeah, because it took 3 months we came up with the idea to do the conference in late March. So we were like, hey, let's do a conference. Let's do it this year. So then what we did was we need to book speakers. So we spent time booking speakers. Keep in mind, it was during COVID, and New York is one of the strictest states with COVID. So we were tentatively about to book a venue with a capacity of 2,000 people. And then on contract sign, they're telling us, oh, by the way, you can't have more than 250. Well, shit, that doesn't work. So we were moving around. It was like, now we don't have a venue anymore. And we're selling tickets. And now we're spending money on ads. So how are we going to give their money back? We're not going to do it. We're going to do this conference. So we found a venue, and we were testing different ads. We had 118 different variations of an ad. And what that means is that it's not 118 totally different videos. It's different copy, different headliner, different graphics on or pop-ups within the ad. Out of the 118, 3 hit really well. Those are the ones we finalized. Just as that research was being done, we were finally able to secure a venue that would give us maximum capacity. And when we were finally ready to say, okay, gentlemen, it's time to run real ads, throw some real dollars and make this thing official, no more testing, we were 33 days out from the conference.
How much did you spend on, I guess they would call it split testing or A/B?
Split testing, we spent like maybe $3-4 grand. You know?
Okay, with the 118 ads?
Yep. We're spending because we just want to see which one resonates the most.
It's not necessarily the money; it's the time too, right? It's just like that's like more valuable.
Wait, 3 or 4 grand per ad, or 3 or 4 grand total?
Total.
Okay, so is that what you're spending, like when you're putting the ads to people to see?
No, that's what he spent to test them out to see which ones popped, right?
That's right.
Then the 3 popped, and then what'd you put behind it?
About anywhere from like $5,000 to $7,000 a day.
Oh, okay. For how long? For like 30 days? For
almost a month, yeah.
So it's just like it's just pushing hard.
Yeah, we started at about $1,000 a day, then went up to $2,000 a day, and then went up to like 3, and then we got to like day 15, not even day 15, day 12, 13. Now we were doing 5,000, 7,000, so that's kind of what we had to do to kind of push it out. Now, keep in mind, we were running out of time. So we have to make over $1 million in 30 days.
Wow.
So that's the environment that we were in, and we were fighting this freaking pandemic was happening. So we don't even know, like, people had all these considerations on things that normally they wouldn't. So we were battling a lot. So we had to get very aggressive, very resourceful. If you were saying, hey, JB, I want to build out my brand, I don't need to do $4,000 in A/B testing for you. I don't need to create 118 ads. We can create 6 or 7 or 8 different variations. We can spend a couple $100s or a G. We could do that in probably a month and a half, 2 months. And then we can run ads and start at $50 a day and scale up where you're not losing money. So, but if we have, let's say if you tell me, hey, I got 30 days, 60 days, and we got to do $1 million, then what we're doing is we're going super aggressive and we're just making sure we're out producing whatever the problem is, or we're going to do our best at least. Essentially, to keep the morale high during that time, what we did was I came up with an agreement because everyone's getting stressed out. We ran into a lot of walls. Trust me, this thing wasn't just turnkey.
I mean, if I was spending $5,000 a day, I would be just yelling the entire day. Yeah. I would just be like, what the fuck are the sales? Who's so? I would be like, yeah. Were you calm or were you like?
I had to be. In fact, most of my people didn't know I was nervous. I would get stressed out. But I always kept always a positive face.
Was there somebody there like going like, yo, we like pick up the phones, or was it to a call to action to buy the ticket, or was it for a phone number?
There was a call to action. We'd receive inbound leads. So if someone were to call, it would route in, and then the voice message would tell us this is for entrepreneur conference, like VIP ticket, entrepreneur conference, whatever ticket, because different numbers. Yeah. That we could tell, and then they would work on that. As far as infighting and stress, sure, we have people like sometimes clash with each other, but we break that up quickly and make it happen. Essentially, what I wanted to do was, luckily, I was working with a team that really gave a shit. Like, no one there was just collecting a paycheck. Everyone there really wanted this to go right. Like, they were getting paid, but what I'm saying is they weren't just there for their job.
Giving a shit and actually getting your money back I feel like are two different things. You know what I mean? Like, yes. I can't, like, people care, but they don't always care about making a profit.
Yes.
I care about this, but I don't really necessarily care if we make JB's money back, right? Or whoever.
Sure, but it's also not their problem. Like, I'll give you an example. Like, that's one thing that I learned. Like, my video guy, he cares, but it's not necessarily his job. I didn't hire him to watch the P&L. I hired him to produce. So the best way that he can help me make my money back is by him doing what I hired him for really well. And that's something where you got to look at it that way. And essentially what I did with my crew is this. I had a meeting and I said, guys, here's the deal. This is going to really be a fight till the end. We're not going to know if this goes right until the day of. We're not going to know. There's going to be no sleep, no nothing. Here's what's going to happen. That day of, I don't care anymore if it's full. What I care about is we need to all be able to look each other in the eyes and go, there's nothing else we could have done to pull this off. We need to put everything on the table, and we have to agree that no matter what happens, there's nothing else we could have done, and I won't be upset with anybody. And we agreed on that. And that day, even the day of, even though we saw the numbers of ticket sales or whatever, we were still like, oh my God. And that place was full. And one of the first things I said when I came out, I was like, oh, we did it, and it was really cool to see that, but it was really something. And you, at that moment when you're a leader, you cannot break in front of your people. You can't pour out all your problems on them, because what do you want? You want to tell your people that essentially you're doing everything you can to make this thing go right. You know what I mean? Like, I canceled health insurance for my whole family to be able to make sure that my people can get paid. I never shared that before. Why would I tell them that? Has nothing to do with anything, I literally sold stuff, my wife sold stuff to make stuff happen, and the thing is that, like, people think it's easy. Like, no, we did it because it's hard. Like, I didn't have to do this. I was making really good money. You know what I mean? Like,
that's the problem. That's the trade. You just literally started a new small business with this event.
Yeah. So, whatever we had to do to make sure our people, at no point do you want your people to ever feel that they lost their security because of your insecurity, because then everything starts to crumble. And our people never felt that way. Our people always got paid on time. In fact, most of our people got raises and bonuses after the event, and that cut hard into our profit. Didn't care, because we're going to do round 2. And round 2, we're probably going to ask even more of them. And when people know, like, these guys have our back and they care, and when we work our ass off, we will get rewarded. If it's not that day, at the end of it, when it's all said and done, you have people that are going to work very hard to get it done. And they care about it. They love it after that because they see you care about them. Like, don't care about your business. Care about your people. Obviously, they have to know that the business is the thing that keeps us all together. So you can't neglect the business. It's not like we're friends and the business is secondary. But if they know, like, man, you really have their back, they understand that the only way that this can go on is if this business is successful. And don't try and put pressure on someone that's not responsible for something or put that on them. Like, I'm not going to put my sales stats on my video guys unless my video guys are dropping the ball on edits I need and it's their fault. But if they're delivering, giving me my deadlines, they're never going to hear it.
If you're spending $5K a day on social media ads, I'm guessing like Instagram, Facebook, whatever, like, how many calls were you getting? How many sales?
We were getting, so as you get closer, just if you ever put an event together, just want you to know that it's very natural for the final big wave to happen towards the end. It sucks because you can't really do any like math on anything.
We know all about that, don't we, Andrew?
We do events quarterly. Yeah. And I mean, it's stressful and it's like, so yeah, we talked about putting on a big event, but then the stakes are just like through the roof. And you're like, yeah, if I had $10 million, sitting in the bank, yeah, let's bankroll $1 million deal. But it's not like that. Yeah. So it's scary. It's scary.
It is. It's one of the scariest businesses because there's so many things you just don't control.
There's so many other sure things out there.
Yeah, there is. For sure.
So you're getting how many calls off $5,000 in ads? I mean, I know you said most of it might have come towards the end, but like, did you have some idea? Like,
sure. I mean, we're probably getting like reservations every couple minutes. And then sales would probably we'd probably sell like VIP tickets were most important to us because they're the bigger ticket items.
How much was that?
At the time, that was $2,500. Just super cheap, relatively speaking.
Depends on who you talk to, but okay.
Well, yeah, but when like, for example, when you get access to those speakers, like I'll give you an example, like if you go to book Grant Cardone, you're going to spend at least $250,000 to get him to come out somewhere. So like at the end of the day, someone that spends $2,500, we spent $1 million. Right. And Grant even says that with his stuff, which is pretty cool. But like it's a different experience, not just front row seating. But that being said, to answer your question, I think what we were doing is we're probably getting a sale maybe every 20 minutes, and then into the night it would turn up when we were sleeping, because while we were sleeping, they were awake and surfing the web. We had really good retargeting set up. So someone that would follow someone else, we were targeting those audiences anyway. So if someone's a speaker at the event, we were targeting them. And if they had a parallel influencer, like let's say, for example, if you follow Brad, that means you also follow Gary Vee. Gary Vee may not even be at that conference, but we're going to target his audience.
Yeah.
So we're targeting the audience of the people that are going to be there because those are people that we know are already paying these people or paying to see these people. So that's what we did, and that's how we.
What was your reservation to payment ratio? Do you know?
Yeah, I would probably say 30%. 30% that reserve purchase.
2/3 would not follow through.
Yeah, but you need also keep in mind that's because we didn't have enough people to follow up with everyone, because 80% of that 30% we had to follow up with, get them on the phone to close them.
Right.
And when we closed them, we didn't have to convince them. They were already sold, but they got so much stuff going on in their life. It's easy for us to go, that it happens to me all the time. There's things I actually wanted to go to and do that I'd be happy to buy and attend. And I'll say, all right, tonight I'm going to go take a look at it. I'm going to buy one of these tickets. And then I totally forget. And then I see on Instagram it happened. I'm like, shit, I wish I was there. So we didn't have enough people to call everyone.
How many people did you have?
We had 3 people calling everyone.
Mm-hmm. What do you think you needed? What are you going to have next time?
We needed probably like 30 people.
I got something. A shout out for Ernie. So when you're following up with these people, JB, do they give you their credit card?
Yeah. But what we would do is we wouldn't take their credit card over the phone. We would send them an invoice right to the text, via text message, and they'd fill it out while we're on the phone with them, and they'd put it in there.
They'd fill it out while you're on the phone with them.
Mm-hmm.
How come you wouldn't just take it over the phone?
Well, because we need to track these metrics. So our CRM that we're using is tracking where everything is coming from, who's who, what's what.
What CRM is that?
What portal? We're using Go High Level.
Okay.
And then what we did was we white labeled our own version that has full customizations and automation to what we want. So with that, what we were using is that we would send them a text message. They'd put their credit card in through text, through that link, because then it's attached to everything else that we do. So when we would call someone through that system, the full call recording is on that CRM under their name. It shows when they viewed the ad, when they clicked on the ad, if they left, when they came back. We're on the phone with them. They paid via text. Our full text chat is on that system. So we wanted to keep everything within the system because we were dealing with a mess. And what if we're going to pay commissions to people later too? And if people start taking random numbers and just processing it and entering it in, tracking it would be difficult. And also being able to follow up with people is difficult because we just randomly put in a credit card. Now we can't issue the ticket through the system. So when we would process it through the system on their end, as soon as they would hit submit, bang, they get their ticket in, they get the instructions, they're on the automated email campaigns, and it's totally worth doing.
Okay, so you did that for tracking and processing, not necessarily like functionality. Like you would have taken it over the phone. So, but they're giving it to you on the first call over the phone, or were you having to do like multiple calls? You said it was easy. They were like already sold, right? So.
Yeah, most of them were already sold. Thank goodness, too, there was no confusion. Only 3 or 4 people thought we were saying the ticket was free. Most people actually knew it was a free reservation, which was good. That helped us a lot. So there wasn't kind of like no one was confused about it. What we did was, when we called people, I would say most of them closed right there on the phone. Other ones we had to follow up with. Some people didn't have the money yet. Some people we put on payment plans. Some people we worked something out for. Some people wanted to buy 10 tickets, so we worked out a group rate for them. So it really depended on what was going on. Other people, we needed to follow up with them. But what we didn't follow up with was if you just were like not interested, this is bullshit, or they just weren't picking up their phone, we didn't care about those leads as much. What we cared about the most was, yeah, I saw it, I'm interested. Is Grant really coming to this thing? Or, wow, Brad Lee's coming out. Can you tell me, like, what are the subjects that we're going over on there? Where's the hotel? When someone's actually asking you questions, that's someone who wants to buy. Someone else is like, yeah, okay, cool. When is it again? All right, yeah, I'll let you know. I'm just going to talk to my whatever, see if I can get off. Like, sure, whatever. Like it's all right.
What'd you get? 500 people?
No, 618 people.
618. What was the blended average ticket sale?
The average revenue per ticket was around like $832, and the cost of acquisition was around $147 per ticket.
Did you have sponsors?
Towards the end, yeah, we did.
Okay,
go ahead.
I think a mortgage company sponsored, right?
Yep, we had two lenders come out. So Clifco Mortgage Bankers is my partner Ryan's bank. He's the director of sales, and now he's an owner there too. And the second one was a hard money lender, a private lender, Share Estates. Those were the lenders. We had Clarity Insurance come there, which is a great company. That was probably our 3 bigger ones, and we had a few other smaller ones too.
So were you anticipating to sell sponsorships, or did that just come in late?
We were anticipating it. The thing with sponsors are this, and this is some valuable advice for anyone looking to set up an event. So a lot of our sponsors are service-based industries, which means that they're not going to make $1 that day. Even if people say, yeah, I'm going to use this bank, or yeah, I'm going to use this insurance company, they're not going to buy it that day, which means that there has to be a follow-up process, a relationship cultivation. So essentially, for them, the most important thing at that point was exposure, because they're probably not going to make it back specifically from that sale, but it can add to long-term credibility down the road. So if you're working with industries like that as sponsors, you have to ensure that whatever you do is a clout-based thing. Everything. If you're just trying to give them a table, they don't care about that, or they do care, but they're not going to make money off of that. So everything needs, like, you're better off saying, if you give us 40 grand to sponsor there. We're going to have a dedicated media team working with you that whole entire day to get you collateral. We're going to get you talking time with every speaker backstage so people can see that this is the people that you rub elbows with. We're going to get you to talk for 5 minutes on stage so people can know who you are. But we don't make it too long because we don't want to infomercial the group. So we'll actually coach them on giving advice while they're up there and actually giving something value so people don't feel like they're getting an advertisement. We're better off doing that for them for those type of industries. For other industries that can sell that day, then you can put something in the roster and program because they can actually do the math and say, hey, if I pay 50 grand with that type of audience, these type of people, this type of exposure, I can make 250 that day. I'm in. Or maybe they can't. So
Josh and I, we put on events quarterly. We get, 30, 40 people. Not 600. That'd be nice. But the sponsors carried the bulk of the weight for the expenses. What percentage of that million did they cover up?
I'd probably say about 10%.
So not much.
No.
Hey, 10% still a good chunk of change.
I mean, for us, when we put on our events, it's like 90, right?
Sure. Yeah, and just say, I come from a similar background. Like, when I was doing training, if we're gonna like get something that's like a 30-person event, usually the getting the venue and getting lunch for everyone, we usually accomplish these things for $5,000 or less. And for a mortgage company to lay out, let's say 5 Gs, they can make that back on just one loan. And because there's only 30 people in the room, there's a good chance that they're going to have real relationships and referral partners by the end of that day. So they can hedge that bet. When people are showing up to see Grant, or they're showing up to see Brad, or they're showing up to see whoever, the mortgage company has a harder time being able to hedge their bet now. Who are they going to talk to? Are they going to even get the time to do it? Because people are paying money to be there to watch someone totally unrelated to them. So that's why there has to be a clout angle for that. But when you do the smaller events, it's much easier to have lenders pick up the tab because they can quantify the value. And most of the time, one loan they can make all their money back.
Question. What did you sell? What did you and your wife sell to make this thing happen? And how is your wife still with you?
My wife is an incredible person. I mean, I love her so much. We were together since 17 years old. She was always very supportive of me. In fact, my cousin came to me when we were having our destination wedding in Cyprus. During the wedding, he said, I need your help. After this wedding, I want to go to Keller Williams in Turkey, and you're American. I think it'd be better if you came with me and helped me do a pitch to them. Do you mind cutting your honeymoon short so you could do that for me? And I asked my wife, and she said, sure thing, no problem. So my wife, thankfully, like our marriage didn't get affected. But what did we sell? Dude, sold guitars, sold designer bags, designer watches, basically, some stuff that, was not necessary but expensive, sold those things. And, that's why people got paid, and we made it happen because at that point, everything was going to this event. In fact, our last bill was the scariest one. We thought that we had a final invoice to make the show go for like $8,000. We thought we paid everyone, everything's done. And our event planners that were with us, that were helping us manage everything, gave us a bill for like $100,000. And we were just like, at that point, because at that point we thought the bleeding was over. And now we're selling our crypto. I'm selling Tesla. I'm selling everything. I'm selling my portfolios that I have to liquidate. And I told everyone, come back in a couple hours and we'll have your money. So, yeah, that's what had to be sold. To be honest, it was a good learning experience.
That's the shit that scares me, man. That scares the shit out of me.
Yeah.
I've already kind of done that.
Yeah.
That's where I'm like, I don't want to do that shit. Right. Yeah. I'd rather,
well, I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to, but I had to. Right. Yeah. But no, I'm with you, dude. Like it's a lot, but at the same time, now we're 4 days away. Everyone already bought their tickets. People got on the plane. They're already flying out. The speakers are heading out. We can't just be like, all right, the hell with it. Like we go in. And then from there, what happens is that, then these payments all start to clear and it starts to work out. And keep in mind, if you start processing a shitload of transactions very quickly, because the media company that we did it under was only a company since April. And now we're charging almost basically 7 figures through it in a very short period of time. They'll hold 20% of your money back.
For like a week, right?
Yeah. So no, 3 months. And so
What? Say
yeah,
what?
3 months. So
Oh, what
now,
bank is that?
no, it's through Stripe. So
Oh,
what happens is that the processor, not the bank, the bank would only hold our money for a couple of days. That's not a problem. That was
At
easy.
what level did they hold it out? Was it like 100,000, 50,000?
I think once we crossed 250 in the period of time we did,
Okay.
they started to hold back 20% of the money, the payout of that money for 90 days. So that also sucked because now they're holding out like $250,000 on you. So these are all things that we learned from it. But when it was all said and done, it was
you
it was a
guys
great
using
show.
Stripe again this year, or you go with a different payment processor?
I think we've resolved our issues with Stripe now because some things are unpredictable. You know, like there's other people that create sometimes funnels that are just so good to be true, and they just bang out a lot of money, and then they clean it out. And Stripe, sometimes if they see like someone has a really badass lander or things are coming through landers, not through regular processors, that might flag. Luckily, we've already proven ourselves it was legit. You know, it was fine. So I don't anticipate having that problem again. Now, if I start with a new company, it might happen again because we're going down the same road. But so far, so good.
Wow. Yeah, that's
That was awesome. I love it. So now is like, where are you sending people to get in touch with you now? Is it for your events? Is it the marketing? Is it everything above? Like where do you want people to go to get in touch with JB?
Yeah, I think most people, if they want to get in touch with me, just come to me, man. Don't even go to the company. I want to help you directly, and I can help you the way it works. So at JB Bolvadin is the best way you can find me on every outlet. From there, you'll find the links to my companies or how you can actually like find out services. But I always tell people, like, don't be afraid to ask me a question. Like, I'm a real person, real thing. I'm not going to put you through some bureaucratic process. Like, if I can help, I will.
No, man, you're a nice guy. You've stayed calm during that process, calm during this podcast. I don't know how. What are you on drugs?
No, man. I don't even drink caffeine most of the time. I have been.
Oh, that might be it. That might be it. You got no caffeine in you.
Yeah. Yeah.
That could be it. I mean, what do you like to keep you so calm and so how much of the sales came through in the last 4 or 5 days? What percentage?
So when we were 30 days out, we had 72 tickets sold. So imagine that.
Okay, so about 10%. Well, what was your goal?
Our goal was 1,000, but I'm glad we didn't hit it because they told us it was 1,000 capacity and it wasn't. I mean, I'm sure you could tell when you got there, it was packed out. So
yeah,
Yeah, so it was pretty much full at that point. So I don't really believe that they could have held that many people. So I'm glad it kind of didn't work out because I think their cap actually that day when we went out there and did the math was like 670 seats. We had 618 sold.
Perfect.
Yeah, so kind of.
And what percentage came in the last week?
Last week, probably 35% was like the last week.
Did you know that was going to happen?
Hell no.
No.
Yeah, at that time, no. Some people told me like, hey, these things happen last minute, but they never did $1 million event, and neither have I. Yeah. I've done smaller events where I know that's true and I wouldn't be as worried, but when you have that much on the line,
right?
That's where it changes up.
Yeah. I hope it was profitable.
It was. And the most important thing was, and the best part about it was we got so many new clients after that because the best case study is like, oh, does your marketing work? Can you make compelling content? Here, log into Stripe, log into Facebook Ad Manager, show them what we did, show them what we spent. Like, we've never asked the client to take a bigger risk than us. We literally, I literally have put my money where my mouth is. And any client that's come through has never had to come even close to that type of ad spend or expenditure to pull off what we did for them. So
hey man, we might have to do a consultation ourselves with you at some point because this sounds like this. You're like, I feel like you're a media genius. Just looking at your background, background alone, and to have the balls to do that. That's a big set of balls.
Yeah, I mean, it's dude. I mean, once you're in, you can't get out. It's like driving in a snowstorm. You can't pull over. You just got to keep driving and get to the end. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I know, but you had the option, and you didn't have to.
Yeah, that's true too.
That's why I'm saying you got big balls to do it. I get it. Once you're in it, you're like, all right, I'm potentially fucked. But just to just say, all right, we're doing it is like,
yeah. No, for sure.
All right, anything else you want to put out there, JB, for the world?
JB, are you going to risk everything you have this year for the next event?
Unfortunately, yes. That's exactly what we're doing because we're gonna
do round 2, baby.
Round 2, man. Bigger, about almost triple the size. We're gonna go with we're gonna have a great stage again. We're probably gonna make our employees 4 times the employees we had on the first run. We're gonna be in that new space that I told you about that we're building out to be able to operate out of there and get more media done. So we're doing it all over again. Every time we get ahead, you got to go put it back in and get behind to get ahead again. Right? They say you got to take one step back.
How are you eating, JB?
Dude, freedom's a myth. Freedom's a myth. I don't care what anybody tells you. Freedom is a myth. You got to keep working. Even if you got 10 million, you got to make sure the investments are cooking, right?
That's right, man. Freedom isn't free.
You got to do something.
Fight for it. You always got to fight for it.
Yeah. Nice.
Well, this was awesome, JB. Thanks for being on, man.
Thanks for having me.
That was unbelievable, man.
Where's this going to stream?